Hello, everybody watching. Bear with me. Okay, there's the first group. Come say hi, leave a comment. Hello, Tracy. How are you? Right, there's the second group. And one dog is waiting. Where's the other one? Are you coming in? Coco, come on. Come in. Good girl. Come in. Go chill out for a bit. Hello, totally jaded. I'm making pizzas today. So I'm going to do one that obviously I know works because it's a recipe in the library. Oh, you've got snow, Tracy. Nice. I just got a cold. It's a nice day. It's a really nice day. It's very clear and blue and no rain, but it just means it's freezing cold. So not enjoyable when you're in the gym and there's no heating or any sort of insulation in there. Hello, Sandra. So two types of pizzas today. I'm going to do one that is the fathead sort of recipe. It's one that we tend to use all the time. That's mainly for Louis. The other one is a recipe I've been meaning to try out for ages. I have no idea if it's going to work, but we're just going to wing it and see what happens. I'm going to get started on the sauce first, just so we get that sort of bubbling away. And then I'll do the new recipe, I think. And then I'll move on to the fathead one. Although I think I've decided I'm not going to use the egg in the fathead, so it's technically MKD. I love wing it. I didn't even intentionally make this a wing it session. Right, oi! Stop messing around. Sorry, the dogs are getting spooked by Clothing Maiden today. So I'm making the tomato sauce to go on top first. That's just going to be passata and probably some herb and paprika. I did get a second carton down in case I needed it, but I might just leave it as this and make a really small batch because otherwise I'm just going to end up cooking down more passata than is needed. So I'm going to add a bit of smoked paprika and some, I need to have some salt as well, and some garlic granules. Basically just the standard sort of stuff. Our usual favourite combination. I did get the herbs out as well, actually. Yeah, they're there. Salt. Hello, Christina. And mixed Italian herbs. I'm going to give that a mix, and then we'll just get it bubbling away. I'll put it on like a medium heat. It's not a lot of passata at all, so it doesn't need a really high heat, which I'd normally start a carton of passata on before reducing it. It's just going to stay there and get a bit stronger in flavour. Hello, Lisa. You can just also use the passata as it is without, it's already bubbling away without cooking it down, but I prefer it a bit thicker. So the new recipe, I'll use a smaller bowl because it's only a tiny. I'm going to halve the batch. It's quite a weird mix compared to the other pizza recipes that we've got going on. It is egg and coconut flour, essentially, with some flavourings, a bit of water, and some Parmesan cheese. So my idea was for this is that it could be a potential dairy-free recipe. Obviously, I'm trying it with the Parmesan first, but I'm assuming it's just there for taste. So if it works as with Parmesan, then I'll start adapting the recipe and see if it can become a new sort of dairy-free pizza base. Because the one that we have in the library at the moment is seed-based, and it's quite seedy because it's seed-based, obviously. It's not like a dough, like in the same way that the fathead is quite light as a dough, if that makes sense. It's quite dense. That's what I'm trying to say. So, eggs first, which I did get out. So, I'm having the recipe that I've written down. This I must have saved like over a year ago, and I just had the ingredients. I managed to Google it and I found one kind of similar, slightly different measurements, and it was basically mix the eggs with the flavorings and then add the coconut flour and leave to sit, and the parmesan. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'll get a whisk, I think. Oh, actually, I'm about to use a spatula. Right, sauce is bubbling away nicely. So I made a pizza with linseed flour. It was lush. Yeah, so the dairy-free recipe in the library, that is linseed-based. And also the fathead that I'll make in a minute, you can use... I'm going to be using ground almonds because that's what Louis prefers. But you can use linseed, milled linseed. Right, flavourings. They don't add salt. I'm going to add salt. They use garlic. I don't have any onion powder, so I'll just skip that part. It doesn't really matter, does it? It's down to preference. How much? Half a teaspoon. Dried oregano or oregano. I'm just going to use the herbs again. And we'll leave it at that. I think I might have some chilli in it as well. Red bell pepper. That's what the red flecks are. Right. So, 2 eggs. I don't know how much pizza base this is going to make. It doesn't look like a lot. But I'm just going to go with the recipe and we'll see what happens. 6 tablespoons for Parmesan cheese, which is the full recipe. So 3 tablespoons, which is about, say, like 10 grams per tablespoon. It's about 30 grams. This shaker gets like blocked up every couple of seconds, all the parmesan, because I'm trying to come out in one go. Right, that's the parmesan. And coconut flour, about 15 grams, I think I worked it out as. Okay, and I'm going to give that a mix and then just let it sit, which is what it says to do. Obviously, coconut flour has a very high level of absorption. So it's not a lot of coconut flour, but it definitely doesn't need any more. It's already turning into like a paste. They kind of, I watched a video on it, they kind of just like spooned it onto the tray. Okay. So it's kind of generated like a smooth paste. That's pretty thick already. I don't think I need to leave that to sit because I can mold that into a pizza base as it is. So I have my Ninja pizza tray. The Ninja is already heated because I've just cooked some chicken off for a topping. So let's do it at 170. It's the usual sort of temperature I do. So I've got the Ninja pizza tray. I'm going to line it because I don't know how non-sticky it is. But this tray, normally for the fathead types of pizza bases, I don't bother lining it. If you are going to line a tray for the Ninja, or I would say this goes for any air fryer, trim away as much excess as you can so that it doesn't pick up the pizza. Because the air can pick up the corners and then you have a calzone because it'll fold it over. That'll do. I don't care if it goes slightly over the edges, that's fine. So it's formed a dough ball, which is quite cool. that's just basically eggs, coconut flour, and parmesan plus flavorings. So I'm going to press that out. That's quite easy to work with. Oh, do you know what I forgot? I forgot the water. We'll go without it. A bit late now. Maybe that's why it needed to sit. I did wonder why the water would be in there, because maybe it depends on the size of your eggs, I suppose. It's not a lot either. It's like a tablespoon. So if it doesn't work, we know why. You can't blame the original recipe. I didn't follow it. What day is it? It's Wednesday. Wing it Wednesday. Right. I don't know how thick I'm going to need to press this out. I do want it quite a decent size because this is my dinner. Although I might steal some of the fathead as well. I don't know. I'm just trying to make the edges a bit neater. Doesn't need wet hands to press it out, which is quite cool. Some keto pastries, some of our bread recipes, you need wet hands to stop it from sticking. Okay, there we go. So that's a pretty decent size. This is almost as far as I can get it to fit this tray. Obviously, there is some extra space around the side, but I'm not going to bother about trying to squish it out further. I'm going to put that in the foodie. I'm going to use my usual technique of bake for 10 minutes and then we'll see how it goes. If it needs a little bit longer, then we'll leave it in for longer. It's not obviously the full bake. This is the first bake before we add the toppings on and then it's going to go back in. So we'll put the timer on for 10 minutes. And in the meantime, we'll get started on the other one. So, fathead, or MKD, because this is going to be without the egg, is the usual story, complete opposite of a potential dairy-free recipe. It's 90% cheese. So, I have some grated mozzarella from Sainsbury's. This isn't, I've said this before recently on a live because I feel like I've got deja vu, but this isn't the best carb-wise. This is 7 carb per 100. So if you're looking to reduce your carbs down further, go for the mozzarella block from places like Morrison's. It's literally a solid block of mozzarella. It's usually called pizza mozzarella. It doesn't have any starch in it, which means the carb count is a lot lower. The reason why this stuff has starch in it is so that it doesn't stick together. Different shops at different levels. Sainsbury's is quite high. 170 grams of mozzarella. Didn't get the cream cheese out, but that's the next part. Cream cheese. $30 grams, which is actually, yeah, it's going to be the rest of this tub. Which is perfect. Yeah. And I just want to check, because I actually don't make this recipe a lot anymore, but I'm sure without the egg, that's the only other thing that needs to go in the microwave. You've got the ground almonds to go in. Yeah. So 170 grams of grated mozzarella, either pre-grated or blitz a mozzarella block in a food processor. Not mozzarella balls because they've got too much moisture. You're going to end up with quite a messy sort of dough to work with. 30 grams of cream cheese and 70 grams of ground almond or milled linseed. You know, I'm going to chuck it in now. This is going to go in the microwave. I did have a question a couple of weeks ago about if you can make this on the stove, because if someone didn't have a microwave. I haven't personally tried it, but I am 99% sure someone has, and it has worked. It just requires a bit of patience. So 70 grams of ground almonds or milled linseed. Plus spices and seasonings to taste. I'll just add some salt and herb. Yeah, and that's just gonna give it a shake, whack it in the microwave. It takes a couple of bursts, mainly to melt the mozzarella, and then it starts to stick together. I need my lid. Okay, we'll start with 30 seconds. Right, let's have a look at, the tomato sauce has reduced down nicely. It's been on 2 whilst I've just been making the bases. So it's been sort of simmering away. And it's now a little bit thicker. It smells great. So I'm going to leave that as it is now. Okay, so I never ended up needing that ton of cheese. Toppings wise, obviously we've got mozzarella again. I might add a bit of parmesan. I've got some bell pepper. I'll just spill some seeds. I've got some bell pepper, which I like to slice, and some cooked chicken. I'll just set the fathead mix off again. So yeah, I just chopped up some chicken breast, cooked it in the Ninja whilst I was setting up. And I'm going to chop that up a little bit more and sprinkle it on top. My other option was cooking off some bacon, but Louis wants that for his lunches, for sandwich fillings and whatnot. So that's what we're using as a pizza topping. Right, I'm going to... Actually, I'll leave this in the pan for now, but I will transfer that into a tub if I have any spare. Okay. The fathead is currently in the microwave. I put it on for a minute because it had barely melted at all. And it's got the lid on, so it's not exactly going to start burning. I don't think I've ever burnt that in the microwave, which is good. If you have any questions, let me know, because there's a bit of waiting around time at the moment. One tip, oh, there we go, it's already buzzed. Okay, we'll give this a mix. Looks like it's almost done. I might give it another minute. Yeah, so the mozzarella has sort of gone all stringy and it's starting to combine into a dough. Now, I know this needs another 30 seconds because you can still see individual pieces of mozzarella. It's not completely combined yet. So give it a stir. Get that cream cheese back in the bowl. And then one more burst of 30 seconds and that should be good. And then we can start rolling that out. So one thing with this dough is you need to work with it whilst it's hot, because the longer you let it cool down, the more fragile it is. So even though I can only bake one base at a time, actually let's... Oh, wow. That's cooking quite nicely. I feel like I'm a bit all over the place today. 1 second. Right, just going to give this a final mix. If you let it cool down, it's going to start getting very brittle, very hard to roll out into a nice circular shape. So even though I can only cook one base at a time in the foodie, I'm going to roll both out. And then once they're in shape, they're fine. You can just leave them be until there's space in the oven. Hi Susan. Hi Nikita. I can see from your 28 in your plan. There's only breakfast and dinner. Does it matter if you have lunch, please? So Susan, the guide that's on the members' website, the first week has 3 meals and snacks, and the following weeks sort of adapt because a lot of people say their hunger disappears, so the meals become less frequent and more substantial. However, if you feel like you still need lunch, you still want 3 meals a day, just keep repeating the routine from week 1. There's no reason why you can't stay on 1 week if that's what works for you. That's why we call it a meal guide. Really, it's not something we want everyone to follow to the T, because it's not suitable for everyone. The macros, there's no one size fits all thing. So yes, the idea is that you just adapt it to suit you. You pick the week that suits your habits, and they might change, which is why the weeks sort of change in routine. Hello, Miriam. Hi, Karen. Okay, pizza dough. I'm gonna roll out. Do I roll it all out in one go? No, let's halve it. And let's be quick about it. I'm gonna guesstimate. That's really hot, which is a good thing. So we want to be quick with rolling this out, because the thinner it gets, the faster it'll cool. I basically just want to get it to the pizza tray size. I might end up making 3 pizzas, to be fair. Don't worry, Tracy, I'm not going to burn myself. It's not that hot. This stuff rolls quite thin. So, do you know what I'll do? We'll roll it over and make a crust. Very rarely do this because it's very fiddly, but it's not very fiddly. It's just I don't really have the patience to make intricate dinners unless I'm live. Usually it's just whack something in the pan and cook it for 15 minutes. There we go. I've made a little crust. I've just sort of rolled around the edges, and it's made a nice, neat circle as well. So there's one, and it should pick up. Yeah, it's picked up off the greaseproof quite easily. Let's roll out the second one. The Ninja has just beeped, which means the first base is ready. Perfect timing. We should be ready. It looked like it was going kind of golden on the corners, edges. It's a circle, it doesn't have corners. But it was still underbaked in the middle when I checked on it. It was actually quite funny because it's kind of rose in the middle like a little hill because of the way the air circulates around the foodie. So hopefully I'll squish that back down and we'll make a normal looking pizza. All right. So you especially want to be quick doing this, because if you leave it too long, the dough is not going to stick to itself. But there we go. 2 pizzas with crusts. That one's already very cool. Okay. So it's still got its little hill in the middle. Let's see if I can get it out. Let's close that, keep the heat in.
Live today.
You always forget I'm live.
I know. Well, I forget what day it is most days. Okay, so go on to you. No?
This is a new pizza dough.
Okay.
Move out the way.
Right, out the way. Oh.
It's not dairy free at the moment, but I'm thinking it could be another dairy free alternative. It's just quite funny how we've got a hill in the middle.
Oh, okay. So what is it?
Eggs and coconut flour.
Ah, I remember you saying, yeah. Okay.
And parmesan.
Right.
So
Looks quite crumbly.
well, It shouldn't be because it's mostly egg.
Right. Okay.
But
Right,
I'll
go
have
on,
a
go on.
look. I've also made 2 fathead versions as well. So I was right to use greaseproof because it's not as greaseproof as a fathead ones.
Yeah. Have you answered Susan's question?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Make sure. Yeah. I'd let it cool a little bit more.
Well, I need the
Oh, right. Okay.
plate.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's see.
Okay. Oh, that's okay.
That's pretty
good.
decent,
That's good.
yeah.
Yeah,
So-
it's good.
The video I watched didn't flip it over. They just coated. I know Miriam. He walks in and he starts criticising straight away. It looks crumbly.
Well, it does
pretty
on that
decent.
side. It does on the dry side.
Yeah, well, but that's because that's the
Yeah.
base now.
Yeah. That's cool. But what I made
What's that?
Marmite and cheese. Well, the clean version Marmite. Marmite and cheese mega.
Right. I'll use the greaseproof just in case. That one was first.
Oh, totally jaded. I can't remember your name. Yes, they are more efficient, especially if you're only cooking for one. Although the most efficient thing is a pan. So it depends. If you're going to roast, then a Ninja is great. Something like the Foodie, the smaller one, may be better because it does more of the options and it's a smaller bowl. The grill's got quite a wide one, so if you're just cooking one steak, it's still a lot of space.
Just want to say, I didn't know the size of the tin. I guesstimate when I rolled this out. Look how perfect that is.
Oh, right.
So that's going to go in the foodie now for its first bake. Yeah, no, it's not hot anymore. Don't know how long that one's going to take, so I popped in for 7 minutes, and we'll see. Right, one base. Let's chop up some pepper. I did have a knife here somewhere. There. Hello, Deb. So I'm going to chop this up really thin slices. Okay, so first, a few spoons of sauce. So, as I said, the video that I watched of this, they didn't flip the pizza over. They kept the same side showing the whole time. However, we always flip ours over so that this side, which is softer, is now the top. So that we've got a sturdier base. Karen says she'll have a black coffee if you're making one.
Yeah, I am, Karen. I am.
Some cooked chicken. I'll just chop this up a little bit finer so that it doesn't interfere. I hate when you're chopping a pizza and half the filling falls off the slice because the chunks are too big. Okay. If this works, this is probably the easiest pizza base I've ever made.
Right.
It's just mix it together. And the original recipe said let it rest. Didn't need to. Mainly because I forgot the water in the recipe, but it doesn't look like it was needed. We'll try it with it though. Okay, peppers, chicken. Sandra says Tracy wants pineapple on hers, please. Right. So once that fathead base is done, that'll go in the Ninja for its final cook. And yeah, let's chop up the rest of the pepper so I can add it onto the pizza very quickly. So you've been doing some bread experiments?
There was a bit of spare dough. Just enough to make one. Test the loaf.
Okay. So that's why I rolled that out straight away. Now that it's cooled down, you wouldn't want to try and press that together. It's gone, like, it's a very different texture. It's gone quite sturdy, but it is fine just to leave out whilst the other ones are cooking. If you want to make these in advance, cook the base like I'm doing now, and then freeze it or put it in the fridge, and then you just add toppings when you want to bake it and have it for dinner. I wouldn't freeze it like that. Do it first. Let's add a little bit of parmesan. So I did think, Louis might have some leftover pizza ready for his lunch. And then I looked at the three, I was like, there's not going to be any.
There's going to be leftovers now.
Okay, so those will go on Louis' pizza. We'll chop up the rest of the chicken. Tracy says, where are you going or been?
I've been at the bakeries all day.
Yeah, the bakery. Surprise, surprise.
Just swirled. Oh my god, it's nice.
Nice. You got a PT tonight? No.
No.
Oh, who's turned up?
Yeah.
I've tried it one yet.
No, well, they're the exact same ones that I've got, so.
It's going to be a bit stiffer.
Yeah. Okay. Alright. Almost done. That, I'll give that a couple more minutes, but that's nice and golden on the edges. Just quite pale in the middle still. Yeah, the PT was this morning, wasn't it? Oh, I saw you had some issues.
Nightmare. Absolute nightmare. Couldn't get on. Zoom wouldn't let me in to start with.
Zoom has been updating every single day.
Just awful. When I got in, I couldn't unmute myself. I was stuttery as hell. They apparently could all see me, but I couldn't see a thing. All their screens were black.
Right.
Just awful. Yeah.
Everyone seems to be having tech issues at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to bother putting that passata in a tub because there might not be any left. Hello, Gillian. Just about time to catch you guys. Drinking my coffee, eating my cake from you guys. And what cake have you got? Which one did you go for? So if you are new to the live, then hello. We're sort of in the waiting stage where something's in the oven. It's not quite ready to come out. One's waiting to go in the oven, or the Ninja. This is a new base, and by the looks of it, it's going to end up going in the library because that's pretty decent. I think I will try the base with water to see if it does make a difference. But other than that, it looks quite decent. It's quite sturdy, even with all that filling on. it's holding its shape, and that's obviously without it being baked for the second time just yet. This is potentially a dairy-free base. I just wanted to see what it's like with Parmesan before I have a look at removing it. Whether it's just for flavour or whether it helps sort of crisping it up here, I don't know. Carrot cake and lemon drizzle. Very nice. Nice. Toppings wise, I've got homemade passata. Homemade passata? No, I didn't make the passata. I made the tomato sauce. Homemade tomato sauce using passata. That's better. Just put some paprika, herb, I think garlic, but I can't remember now. Someone might remember. Okay. Second base, nice and golden. So again, same method. We baked it once. Yeah, adding the grease cream was definitely a good idea. It's not like stuck, but it'll just make it a lot easier to get off. Yeah. Okay. Does look good, doesn't it? It's very golden. All right. Hot. Flip over. And there we go. So we'll get this base in the foodie. So hopefully we can show you this one made. Obviously they'll all look pretty similar once they're baked. Right, that's not going to take long at all now. I'll do it for 6 minutes because it's just making the cheese golden now. So it's sturdy, flimsier than the other base. It's like a bendy pizza. And it's nice and pale on this side, which will now be the one for topping. And obviously that side is nice and golden. I really want to make pizza now, Lol.
You say it's dairy free?
That one isn't, no. This is NKD.
Oh, right, sorry. The new one, though.
The new one is potentially not at the moment.
Right, okay. So what's the dairy in it?
Parmesan.
Right, okay.
But I don't know whether it's just there for flavour or whether it's there for structure. So I wanted to make it with Parmesan first before I start messing around with it.
It won't be there for structure. You can probably get away with nutritional yeast.
You could actually, yeah, but it's quite a lot of Parmesan. It's 30 grams in that base.
Yeah,
So-
okay. I think you're right. It'll be flavour because it's like coconut flour. So it'll be sweet.
There's not a lot of coconut flour. It's 15 grams in the whole base.
15 grams coconut, 30 Parmesan.
2 eggs.
Wow, okay.
One thing that someone might have just pointed out, I don't know whether you've realised or not, to be fair, it's kind of moulded into the base. I did make a crust, mainly because it was too big to roll down, but obviously we turned it upside down. So we'll just ignore the fact that there's a crust there. It hasn't kind of risen up. All it's really done is made a neat, uniform circle. So we'll just pretend that was the intention. I need to save enough of the topping to go on the second one. Louis just likes loads of cheese. So, loads of mozzarella and loads of Parmesan. Rustic. I don't know whether to take that as a compliment or not, Tracy.
So we're going to start on the
Okay.
pan. Oh, however.
So,
Where's the other one gone?
oh, your
Yeah,
key.
you said found
I
it.
said it. I found it in a pocket, in one of your coat pockets. I think it was in there, so it might be the super dry one.
Okay.
I don't know. I was looking for poo bags and I found an old car key. Dad, where's the tub of Parmesan from?
Booker's.
Booker's.
So it's not a real Parmesan, it's obviously a British made Parmesan.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, it's not called
It's not
Parmesan. It's
cheese,
called
it's fried
grated
cheese.
cheese. Actually, is this a veggie one?
No, it's got red in it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a British.
It's a British parmesan,
Not
so
parmesan.
no different to the grilling cheese is not halloumi.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can get the similar types on supermarket shelves. Right. Okay.
I might just bake. No, do you know what? Let's not rush it. This is Louis' dinner. We want it to be kind of nice. I was going to sort of just top this and bake it as it is, but no, it always works better. You see how it's got a bit more structure. Now it's been baked on the base. We've only got a couple more minutes for that pizza anyway, just because I'm impatient. Okay. Does anyone have any more questions in the last 2 minutes before pizza's ready? See you later. I think this is from Booker's as well. We just, ever since Dad uses Booker's for the bakery, we just have larger bulk things appearing in the house. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this is Booker's as well. It's a catering pack of ground almonds. Even though we buy ground almonds in sacks for the bakery. Sandra, brilliant idea. Yes. Why didn't I think about that? Right, Sandra has said, obviously, I went through all this effort of adding a crust that you can't really see because the camera's not picking it up. So bake it upside down, and then when you flip it over to top it, it's got the right crust. I will do. Thank you for that, Sandra. Louis doesn't look like he's going to be home anytime soon because it's 4:45 and he's not here. So it is a Wednesday, so school finishes later for him on a Wednesday. And it's mock season, so he might be staying on. I don't know the details. He never tells me. So I can cook the pizzas one at a time. No one's waiting around over there waiting for dinner, which sometimes he does, especially with the members' cooking sessions. Louis just comes downstairs. Is it ready yet? I'm hungry. Okay. I don't actually have a lot of grated mozzarella left, so I might grate some cheddar for Louis' second one. So, a Christmas gift from Tracy. She got us some Mouse House cheeses, and this is a charcoal cheddar. It's really nice. It's very rich, but I don't know what Louis would think to me. Do you reckon I should just put it on the pizza and just say sorry and left it in the oven for a bit long?
Phone down somewhere. That's not good.
I'm just waiting if I put black cheddar on Louis' pizza.
Nice. Yes, he'll go.
Whether he'll just eat with his eyes though and go, oh, it's burnt. But then again, he has certainly served me burnt Hunter's chicken before. Took him 2 hours to make that dish. It is hilarious when he makes dinner sometimes. He gets started early and it still ends up being a late dinner. Okay, so that is done enough to show. I might add it in for a couple more minutes because I like the cheese quite crispy. Smells good though. There we go. So obviously that second bake was just to make the cheese a bit golden, sort of warm everything through. That was a tongue twister. Tracy, I don't know. Dad was the one that had the black cheddar on the cottage pie last night. Well, I think he enjoyed it. I enjoyed mine, which was topped with normal cheddar. So, let's see. I'll get a plate. 1 second. Where's my pizza cup? There it is. Have a pizza cup. There we go. Look at that. I'm sorry, it's not going to focus, but you can see the goldenness, which is, typical for a pizza. I'm going to add the second one on the tray now. This is Louis' first. That'll go in for that was 6 minutes. This will probably take about the same. Again, just to make the cheese golden. Okay, I think this is a winner. I'll give it one more try before I write it up, but keep your eyes peeled. If you have our app, I'll send out a notification when it gets added to the library. If you don't have our app, search Keto Fitness Club on your app store, whether it's Apple or Google. Let's see how sturdy it is. Bit of cheese hanging there. Not bad. Not bad at all. There you go. It's me holding it on the edge. You can see how sturdy it is. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm gonna take a proper photo of it before I start eating it. And yeah, I will do one more experiment, and then I'll go in the recipe library with or without water, with or without parmesan, whatever I decide works best. Thank you very much for watching. The next live is, I think it's Friday. 1 second. It's a new salmon recipe, and I say that because that's literally what I put on the timetable, because we couldn't decide what sort of salmon recipe it was, but I've got a few different ideas. Most of them are like a type of marinade that you also add to the veg, and then it just like all gets roasted together. So that might be what it is. Or just tune into Friday's live and see what it is. So actually it might be 2 new recipes this week. And then Sunday, 4 p.m, Sue and Tracy are making mushroom soup. And then we've got the kick on Sunday evening as well. I'll put the link in here, which goes to all of the lives, like the timetable that I upload each week for all of these lives. And it also has the link if you want more info on the kick session on Sunday evening as well. There you go. Salmon surprise. Why? I'm going to change the timetable now to say salmon surprise. That sounds a lot better than just a new salmon recipe. Can you tell I was tired when I made that? All right. I will see you on Friday. I'm going to enjoy the pizza. Goodbye.